I think we're seeing many things. First of all, kind of general vacancy in downtown Chicago, and I think that reflects some of the other markets, is relatively flat right now. So there hasn't been any huge improvements. Supply is getting better, but demand has been relatively modest. So, and then what we are seeing users particularly using their space much more efficiently. I can think of an example of KPMG, who moved into the Aon Center, and they basically used a lot more hoteling. Their envelope was roughly the same, if not smaller, from where they were, and they're actually going to have more people. So that's an example of somebody using the space more efficiently. There are some contractions taking place in the financial services business, but there's also a lot of expansion taking place, particularly in technology, with Google, Groupon, Salesforce.com, healthcare with Northwestern University here in Chicago, and Children's Memorial, and education where there's been growth. So there's plenty of sectors where we're seeing some real expansion. You know, I think it's not as bad as people expected it would be. There were going to be a lot of maturity of debt going over for the next several years, and that really, they thought there would be a lot of problems, that people would be underwater, there would be a lot of cash flow issues, and what's happened is that it hasn't been as bad as that. So the market's been a little better, the owners have been a little better, but there still are some who are out there. Again, here in Chicago, Prudential Plaza is a perfect example of a building that kind of fits in that zombie category. That would be an example, but I would say that that's more of an exception than the rule today. Yeah, you know, in Chicago, we're probably a little bit behind relative to where the country is. There was no development last year. There's no development this year, and there's probably not going to be development for the next couple years, at least in terms of completions. The expirations for Chicago, where there's some demand, is in 2016 and 17. So there's at least 2 or 3 developers out there who are moving and trying to get their sites sold. In particular, Hines has announced that they're going to be building a River Point, which is about 800,000 square feet, and they're going to be starting that. They're basically chasing after just a few of those tenants that are rolling in the 16 or 17 timeframe.